After Dongju woke up, the man brought a syringe. Even though Dongju refused, the man still injected at Dongju's arm. At Chairman Cho's residence, Il-do saw his father-in-law wanting to get a drink and he told Il-do to be quiet because Secretary Gong could wake up. Sure enough, Secretary Gong woke up and asked Chairman Cho not to drink, and that made Chairman Cho a little angry. And it turned out that Secretary Gong saw Il-do taking a book containing the password to open the safe. But he kept quiet and he didn't tell Chairman Cho, but actually he didn't like the behavior of Chairman Cho's son-in-law. Then Il-do told his father-in-law that Mr. Yeom was targeting Daesan Energy, which had 59 subsidiaries. Chairman Cho thought that the greedy man had taken a lot, but still wanted money. If Chairman Cho had built Daesan Telecom in the past, it would be impossible for them to still be tied to that damn Yeom. He promised Chairman Cho the company, but failed after spending a lot of money. Because Chairman Cho had a headache, he had to open the safe for drinks, but he couldn't contact Dongju because he forgot the passcode to the safe. At this time, Chairman Cho thought to just give Mr. Yeom some money, and they will sort Mr. Yeom out little by little. Because Dongju is on leave, Chairman Cho tells Il-do to take money from his personal safe and give it to Mr. Yeom. Then Chairman Cho takes the passcode that he keeps in a book, and Il-do just takes a picture, even though he has already taken a picture of the passcode. In the middle of the road, there is a man who tries to go upstairs. He is Dongju. Then someone approaches him and he calls him Song Hyen. Then Dongju wakes up from his dream. He tries to get up and the bearded man wakes up because of Dongju's voice. He is shocked to see Dongju, who is still alive, and at that time Dongju feels very hungry. Cho Dak-hee enters her father's office. She looks for the safe passcode that her father keeps in a book, but she can't find it. When she is about to leave, she accidentally bumps into a pen holder and it turns out that there is a safe passcode inside, and Dak-hee is happy because she found it. Then Chairman Cho remembers that he once hid the code paper safe with Dongju in the pen holder. But when he looked in the pen holder, he couldn't find it. Dongju ate heartily, and the bearded man had a reason and had to avoid the police for a while. That's why he couldn't take Dongju to the hospital. But he was grateful that Dongju was still alive, because if Dongju died there, he couldn't even report it. Then, he introduced himself. His name is Bae-wan Bae, that's his real name, and he is called Jang Il-nam, or it could also be Bearded Jang. Dongju also introduced himself with the name Song Hyen. It seems Dongju has lost his memory and that name is the name from his dream. Wan Bae is curious how Dongju could have been shot twice. That's why he couldn't take Dongju to the hospital, because the doctor would report the gunshot wound to the police. Then Dongju said he had a car accident. But Wan Bae took out 2 bullets from Dongju's body, and someone who was shot in South Korea, that's not normal. Wan Bae also felt that someone shot to get rid of Dongju, then Dongju tried to escape with his car. However, they chase and make Dongju fall off the cliff. But Dongju doesn't remember being shot. Il-do is at Mr. Yeom's residence with money from Chairman Cho's safe. But Mr. Yeom feels that Il-do is carrying something tacky like that fruit box. He knows that the money is not from Chairman Cho's safe, because the money in Chairman Cho's safe is not in Korean currency, but in American dollars. And Dongju carries it in a small shirt box. Mr. Yeom is annoyed. When will Il-do really become an inside man of Daesan? If Chairman Cho refuses to give the passcode to his safe, Il-do must have the guts to blow up the damn thing. It hurts to see him looking for funds from other places like this, because managing the National Patriotism Fund shouldn't be this complicated. Maybe Mr. Yeom should bring down Daesan to remind Chairman Cha who he is. Wonbae shows Dongju a woman's bracelet and a man's watch. Then the tattoo on the tip of the plant, there are the initials Y, E, N. Does that remind Dongju of something? Wonbae also shows the suit that Dongju was wearing. He thinks maybe Dongju was on his way to get married when the shooting happened, because it looks like a groom's suit. Wonbae also shows his cell phone that was in his pocket. Wonbae has dried it from the seawater, but he is not sure if it still works. If it is turned on, maybe Dongju will be connected to the person who tried to kill him. But Dongju keeps it on and it still works. Eun-nam is shocked when she sees Hee-cheol enter her room. Her mother explains that her grandfather called Hee-cheol. Her mother told Hee-cheol to talk to Eun-nam and invite her to go home after dinner. But Eun-nam follows her mother out of the room. It turns out that her grandfather asked Eun-nam to return the shares if Eun-nam doesn't want to go home, and that makes Eun-nam upset. Then Dongju calls Eun-nam's cell phone and Hee-cheol answers the phone. Dongju introduces himself as Song Hyeon and Hee-cheol already knows that it's Dongju's voice. He even calls Dongju a jerk who wants to die. Dongju becomes angry because he is suddenly cursed at. When Dongju asks who he is, Hee-cheol answers that he is his god. Of course, that makes Dongju upset and suddenly his cell phone breaks again. Hee-cheol gives Eun-nam's cell phone to her mother. It is the cell phone that Eun-nam uses to contact Dongju. Before Hee-cheol gets a call from Dongju, when Hee-cheol answers, Dongju panics and lies and claims his name is Song Hyeon. When she hears that name, Secretary Gong is shocked, and her mother wonders if Hee-cheol still wants to take Eun-nam home even after receiving the call, and Hee-cheol will still take her home. Eun-do tells his father-in-law that they were contacted by the Coast Guard because Dongju rented a cruise ship. However, the ship was reported past its return date, so the police investigated. Because Dongju could not be contacted, so they contacted the company, but according to Chairman Cha, there was no need to file a missing person report. So, he asked Eun-do to find Dongju as soon as possible, tell him to go back to work, because Chairman Cha was frustrated that Dongju was not by his side. Wonbae went to the repair shop to pick up Dongju's cell phone that had been repaired. Then the repairman asked who was with him, and Wonbae answered that it was his younger brother. The cell phone was almost beyond repair, so just throw it away if it breaks again. Wonbae thanked him and invited Dongju to go home. Cho Cookie gave Eun-nam's cell phone that was used to call Dongju to Eun-do. She asked her husband to call Dongju now, because this afternoon, Hee-cheol received a call from Dongju. Eun-do felt that it was impossible, it must have been someone else. Then Cookie explained that Dongju used a fake name as soon as he knew the person he was talking to was Hee-cheol. Because he was curious, Eun-do called Dongju and Dongju answered it. Eun-do was shocked to hear Dongju's voice and he didn't say anything. Then Dongju said that he was the one who shot him. Dongju said again, no matter how much he tries, Dongju won't die. Eun-do was happy because it turned out that Dongju was still alive. He said in his heart, just wait, because he will come to kill Dongju. The next day, Eun-do told Mr. Yeom that Dongju was still alive. Mr. Yeom was happy because it meant that his money would be returned, so he asked Gu-ho to track the location of the call and invite President Ha-yeol with Gu-ho. Make Dongju unconscious and take him there. They will also prepare a stun gun and lock Dongju up with those people. In 30 minutes, Dongju will definitely reveal the Swiss account password. And after getting the password, Mr. Yeom, who got rid of him. So Eun-do's job is just to bring Dongju to his house. Ildo goes to the cruise ship that Dongju is on. There he doesn't find anything, he just cleans Dongju's blood stains. While Dongju and Wanbei board a boat, they only pass the cruise ship. Because Dongju has lost his memory, he doesn't recognize Ildo. Because he doesn't find anything, Ildo plans to go back, and when he is about to get on the boat, he sees Dongju passing him. Ildo is shocked and falls into the sea. Seeing that, Dongju turns his boat and he tries to save Ildo. Finally, Dongju manages to bring Ildo to the surface. Ildo is taken to the hospital, and in the room, Ildo remembers when Dongju saved him. He dives into the sea to save Ildo, while Dongju himself currently has a high fever. He is only treated by Wanbei. Then Wanbei goes to the hardware store again to fix Dongju's cell phone. The repairman said that someone was looking for his brother, but he said he didn't recognize him. However, seeing his photo, anyone would recognize him because Dongju has a striking face. Then Wanbei immediately went to catch up with Dongju. Guho and his people were already around Wanbei's house. They went into the house, but Dongju and Wanbei were no longer at home. Then Guho saw the stairs and he went up the stairs. It turned out to be their exit. And Guho left the house because he thought they had run away. But it turned out they were hiding under the bed. They came out after they felt safe. And then they left the house, and Wanbei took off his beard and mustache, which turned out to be fake. Ildo called Unnam and he asked if Dongju contacted her. Unnam replied that Dongju did not contact her. Hichio hopes Dongju doesn't come back and it's better for him to die somewhere. That way, Unnam will let go and start looking at her husband. Unnam feels that what she misses about Dongju is his figures as a man, not a husband. Hearing that Hichio feels belittled, he tries to kiss Unnam by force, but Unnam pushes him and doesn't let Hichio kiss her. While on the way, Dongju crosses, but Unnam doesn't see him. Unnam and her husband are at a boutique shop to buy a suit for Hichio. And at the same time, Dongju is also at the shop to check the suit he wore during the shooting. The shop can't tell who ordered the suit because it's private. Then Unnam and Hichio go downstairs and see Dongju over there. Unnam is very surprised and she calls Dongju, but Dongju doesn't recognize her.